In this video we're going to take a look at creating different line thicknesses. We need to create different line thicknesses in order to determine between a vector or a raster cut on the laser cutter. Again, our vector cut is a solid cut and our raster cut is an engraving. Okay, so if I'm to look at this project here, the auxiliary projection project, if I select the border here, you can see that it's zero thickness, 0.00 millimeters. This is going to be a solid cut, i.e. a vector cut. But if I'm to look at the projections for the elevation, projections for the plan, and the projections for the true shape, we can see that these are all thickness 0.3 millimeters. Okay, again, just to select them, we can see they're 0.3 millimeters. Now, if I zoom in, we can see that these orange rectangles here, these are for the finger joints for where our elevation plane and our true shape plane slot into. As you can see up here, they're also zero thickness. They're going to be cut out. It's a vector cut. Okay. One last thing to show there is our text. We also want this to be engraved and not vector cut. We can see that this is also a thickness of 0.3 millimeters. Now, to show you how to do this, I'm just going to mimic another two rectangles. So it's rectangle. This is just for means of demonstration. I'll set that in 15. Okay. So let's say, for example, this outer border here, we want to cut this out, or we want to vector it out. And this one in here, we want to engrave as a little border around the project. Okay. So select the object that we want to vector or to cut. We can go up to bilayer here and select it as zero thickness. Now that is going to be selected as a vector cut. And select the inner rectangle, and if we want to engrave this at a thickness of 0.3 millimeters, select 0.3, and that is it done. Now to double check, just highlight the rectangle, the outside rectangle. This should be 0.00 millimeters. Yes, it is. Inner rectangle should be a thickness of 0.3 millimeters. Yes, it is. Okay, and just one way to kind of check that, if we go down here to hide or show our line weight, we can see here that that's the 0.3. One final way to predetermine our thickness for the layers, if I just delete that, if we go up into our layer manager up here, okay, we see all our different layers here. And remember from earlier on, I had the orange rectangles for our finger joints. I can select the line weight in here, and I can predetermine that by just selecting it in here. It's now going to be 0.0 millimeters thickness. OK that. Now we can see within our layer manager here that the line weight for my finger joints is 0 millimeters. This is going to be a vector cut. Similarly, with the text, all we need to do for the text here is highlight it and go up and select it again. This is already done here. Select it at 30, 35 or 40, whichever one you so wish. Okay.